Welcome to today's book summary, where we dive into one of the most influential financial books of all time, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book has changed the way millions of people think about money, wealth, and financial freedom. And in this video, you'll discover the key lessons that separate the wealthy mindset from the poor mindset. Robert grew up with two father figures. His real father, the poor dad, was a highly educated man with a stable job, but he struggled financially all his life. His second father, his friend's dad, the rich dad, had very little formal education but understood money, investing, and entrepreneurship. From observing both men, Robert discovered powerful lessons that we can all apply to our own lives. The first and most important lesson is that the rich don't work for money. Instead, money works for them. Poor dad believed in studying hard, getting good grades, and finding a secure job. But rich dad taught Robert that a job will never make you rich. It will only give you enough to survive. The real secret is learning how to acquire and grow assets that generate income, even when you're not working. And this brings us to the second lesson. It's not how much money you make, but how much you keep. Most people think being rich means earning a high salary, but in reality, it's about how you manage that money. Poor dad would spend more when he earned more, buying liabilities like cars or big houses. Rich dad, on the other hand, invested his money into assets, things that put money in his pocket, like real estate, stocks, and businesses. Kiyosaki stresses the importance of financial education. Traditional schools don't teach us how money works. They teach us how to be employees. But if you want financial freedom, you need to learn about investing, taxes, and building businesses. This is the third big lesson. The rich focus on building financial intelligence, while the poor rely only on their paycheck. Another powerful principle from the book is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets put money into your pocket, while liabilities take money out. It sounds simple, but most people confuse the two. For example, a house you live in may feel like an asset, but in reality, it costs money every month in mortgages, taxes, and maintenance, so it's actually a liability. Rich Dad always told Robert, focus on building a strong portfolio of true assets, because that's the key to long-term wealth. The book also emphasizes the power of entrepreneurship. Poor dad valued job security, while rich dad valued freedom. Starting a business may feel risky, but it's also the best way to create wealth. When you own a business, you control your income, your time, and your financial destiny. That's why rich dad always encouraged Robert to take risks, learn from mistakes, and develop the courage to think differently from the crowd. One of the most inspiring lessons is about overcoming fear. Most people stay trapped in the rat race because they fear losing money or failing. But rich dad believed failure is part of learning. The difference between the rich and the poor is not that the rich never fail. It's that they are not afraid to fail. They use setbacks as opportunities to grow. Finally, Kiyosaki explains the importance of making money work for you. The wealthy don't save for retirement in the traditional way. Instead, they build streams of passive income that keep flowing no matter what. Whether it's rental income, dividends, or royalties, the idea is to create money machines that work even while you sleep. In summary, Rich Dad Poor Dad is not just a book about money, it's about mindset. The poor focus on job security, while the rich focus on financial freedom. The poor spend on liabilities, while the rich invest in assets. The poor fear failure, while the rich use it as a stepping stone. And ultimately, the rich don't work for money, money works for them. So ask yourself,